Blooper Team, the creators behind some astounding horror game, such as Observer and Layers of Fear, have come back again, this time with a third-person perspective game called The Medium, which introduces a new element letting us observe and play through the endgame real world and spirit world simultaneously, and also separately. Hello guys, this is 24 Theory. Welcome to another episode of Storylines Explained. To this episode, we'll be looking at the story of The Medium. Before starting the video, I must say that there are a lot of spoilers in this video, so be careful. Well, without waiting, let's get into the video. The Medium is a psychological horror game where players assume the role of Marion in a third-person perspective with fixed camera angles. Similar to the traditional Resident Evil games, Marion has a medium who can travel into the spirit world, having the ability to inhabit both worlds simultaneously. WECH visually looks stunning with having a split-screen dual reality rendered smoothly in real time. Marion uses her abilities to solve puzzles she comes across and she could also use these psychic abilities in her benefit against hostile entities. She can recharge these abilities by interacting with energy spots called Spirit Well. We start the game by witnessing a vision of a child being chased by a mysterious person who pulls the trigger of a pistol pointed at the child, and presumably killing Care. Marion, our medium protagonist, explains she's hassled by these visions all the time. We soon learn about Jack, Marion's adoptive father, who supported Marion despite her overemphasized weirdness, which is her psychic abilities. We learn that Marianne and Jack lived above Jack's funeral house, which aided the protagonist to master her psychic abilities. After investigating and learning more about the protagonist and Jack's backstory, we soon learn that Jack is being prepped for his own funeral. We are introduced to Marion's dual reality psychic ability. Soon after interacting with Jack's spirit, who travels through the next world peacefully while wielding a creepy Poe face mask, the protagonist receives a mysterious call from an unknown person called Thomas, who convinces Marion to trust them by revealing that he knows about Marion's vision sighting. It all starts. Dead Girl, our protagonist, says to go to Niwa Resort, an abandoned park resort where a massacre took place. And as soon as Marion reaches the hotel, she gets stuck by an intense negative aura filled with bad memories and emotions. When she manages to enter the hotel, she gets startled by a spirit girl called Sadness. Despite her cheerful and personality, Sadness is missing an arm and looks mutilated. At first glance, Sadness unveils a bit of the backstory in this cryptic place, saying that this place used to be busy with people, but they became angry and slowly this place became abandoned, and then guides Marion to where to find Thomas. She ends up in a development room getting startled after finding a picture of herself. Then suddenly, a monstrous entity appears, frightened and resentful, who tries to strangle Marion before she manages to escape. This entity sets the chase after the protagonist, while hearing some creepy lines such as, "Don't leave me here naked and alone. Let me wear you." Yikes. Marion manages to escape and gets back to exploring the resort to find answers and to look for Thomas. Through a radio transmission, Marion gets notified to find someone called Richard. In the day room, Marion gets reunited with Sadness again, where she forms Marion. That hostile entity came from shame, helplessness, and rage, and ate all of her friends. Shame from helplessness, from rage. Rage, it's like anger but more. She also informs Marion Dad, Richard, was smart, but became hollow and insists that she doesn't want to see him again. We uncover Richard as the uncle of Sadness, who we learn to have been called. Soon after, the players take control of Thomas, who has psychic ability similar to Marianne, but he's accompanied by another spirit counterpart who has a mind of his. Thomas learns about Richard's wrongdoings to Lily, the 13-year-old spirit girl dubbed as Sadness, who is Thomas's daughter. Thomas uses his psychic abilities and infiltrates Richard's mind, where he learns about what caused Richard to become what he is now. He destroys the child embodiment of Richard in his mind, and instead, what remains as the beast that caused Richard to have the urges to prey on children. Marion meets the beast and hates to his wishes to destroy him. Later on, when Marion meets Sadness again, she says to stay and not be sent away, and that the monster who chases Marion throughout the game will go away after wearing Marion. And she is the one he is wanting, not Sadness. Sadness urges Marion to remember that she used to be with her all the time in the red house before it burned down. Later on, a mysterious man called Henry ties Thomas in an armchair and tortures Sam to get information about his powers. Henry manages to burn the red house, and meanwhile, Thomas manages to infiltrate Henry's mind when he finds the vulnerable child embodiment of Henry. He realizes that the child is not polluted by guilt, fear, anger, or any other adverse emotions. Henry is simply an evil man. Marion encounters the monstrous spirit embodiment of who informs her dad. She is another daughter of Thomas, hence Lily is her sister, and that didn't murder. Marion gets rid of injury and gets occupied by the thought that the man in her visions who shoots the kid is Thomas or not the monster dad. Marion, encountered initially in the beginning of the game, keeps handling her some more before she meets Thomas's spirit counterpart. She tells them the story from the very beginning. It all starts with a dead goo. Thomas's spirit counterpart tells Marion Dad, Thomas built a bunker which only exists in one world, keeping the spirit world and Thomas' spirit counterpart away. Marion meets the real life Lily sheltered in the place Thomas built. Lily informs Marion that a monster chasing after her was the spirit cannon part of Lily, who she let loose to save them from the fire, who in return caused the massacre in Niwa Resort. Thomas left Marion in the hospital to be adopted and locked Lily away as her medium powers were too dangerous and hostile. In a turn of events, Marion learns that her visions are not the past, but the future, and the girl who gets shot in her visions is supposed to be Lily. All this to get rid of the monster, as the spirit cannot be destroyed while the host is still alive, and that is why Sadness couldn't leave in a final struggle, being left with no option. Dan killing her own sister, Marion chooses to kill herself as the monster won't be able to sustain itself without possessing Marion, as no other is strong enough to sustain him. Therefore, by shooting herself, she could also get rid of the months there. It's a long, but it's the only thing Marion can get herself to do. Dan killing her own sister Lily. Dan uses her psychic powers and forces Marion to shoot her in a struggle, resisting Lily's powers to shoot her and her own will to shoot herself. Spirit Thomas is heard saying, VPN not save everyone. Butterfly, Dan. The screen blacks out and we hear a gunshot, at which point Marion repeats. It all starts with a dead girl. Then we see footsteps of presumably Thomas is in the spirit world picking up a pocket watch. There's a lot of room for interpretation, but my personal best guess is that Lillian dies, as Marion repeats that it all starts with a dead girl, and that Thomas is finally freed. And that's it. I hope that it gave you a good information about the medium. But if you enjoyed this video, then leave a like and subscribe to the channel to support me. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts. As always, until next time, take it easy.